Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, Free Enterprise Friendos. I'm Oscar424, and welcome to a fantastic race between Soleras and TwistedFlax. I'm with the wonderful commentator, Ultimate Antlion Fader 5788, or just PK4787. How you doing, PK?
I'm doing well. I'm looking forward to another race. Twisted and Solaris are 1-1, so elimination is not quite on the line, but 2-1 certainly would feel a lot better than being 1-2 at this point.
Agreed, because as soon as you have that second loss, pretty much the next loss, and you're pretty much playing a heartbreaker at that point. But those objectives, though, I didn't know we were doing job dwarf percent here. I'm here for it.
There's only one job dwarf, so it's going to be hard to collect all 5 of those in one seed. But I have no idea what the objectives are. We're getting some interesting naming schemes here. I like Hobbs for Fusoya on TwistedFlax's side.
I think they're effectively all. Well, I recognize Stimpy from Ren and Stimpy, and are these effectively cats we got going on here? I'm all right.
That makes sense. That seems to be the through line on these. Yeah.
I could just hear the gears slowly getting oiled and turning over there. But with the actual objectives, we have our standard 3 that we see every single race. Completing Cave Magnus, which we always hope for because we can get some music. We have the Forge with the Legend Sword and the Adamant Rock, and of course, training with Pigtail. Today's race, our 2 random objectives are, well, get Bay, so get Rosa, and then ironically defeat Dark Knight Cecil. So looks like we're going to be getting a self-rescuing princess to defeat her love. So that's kind of awkward.
Yeah, Dark Knight can show up in a couple rude spots, but typically not a fight to be overly concerned with. It's definitely not a boss hunt I'm overly afraid of, but these character hunts, sometimes you knock those out immediately. Sometimes you end up seeing both runners taking some gambles trying to check that one off the list. So we'll see when we run into Rosa. That's the one that's going to be curious for me.
Well, it looks like we are getting well, we got Palom, and speaking of Dark Knight, we have the wrong Dark Knight. This is the good one, I guess. But Leviathan showed up and said, here, you know what? Here's a free pass to Z once you get there. So we have our Z access at the very least. Not going to do us any good right now, but hey, it's going to save time later.
Yeah, not the worst start. You definitely want to get some experience on Palom as quickly as possible. Something like the Dark Sword for Dark Knight Cecil would be appreciated, but probably not something I'm going to go out of my way looking for. And this is an interesting play by Soleras right out of the gate.
Yeah, and plus on Flax's side, the very first chest looted was a crystal ring. So we're seeing some really good items right out of the get-go.
Yep, and that's a Yang having drinks. He's on a triple date. That's quite the move from Yang there.
It's a nice little vanilla to start the day with. See, Soleras has found the first trap chest, so knows not quite to go after that one right now. And the second one. So we're getting those right out of the way.
Certainly finding the trap chests, that's half of the strategy of looting here. I mean, ideally you would just find some good things and then get out of dodge without ever running into the monsters, but at least now you know where not to go.
And tell it to me straight, Coach. When you have this kind of duo, also nice samurai pickup or samurai bow pickup, how much looting do you prefer to do with, well, essentially Palom and a supporting extra? Ooh, nice light pickup.
It's 50-50. I don't mind checking either of these locations that we're seeing right now. But really, Palom with the rune ring, wizard hat, and the wizard shirt is going to be pretty fine once you clear one fight. So I may be looking for a J item, but then also knowing that I'm about to have Paladin Cecil on my team, I certainly don't mind finding a Zeus Gauntlet and a Light Sword. I can say that for sure.
Yeah, that That Cecil is going to be online really quickly. We did see our sleeping character in or for the Sand Ruby check, and that is, well, a non-existent character, an anchor, Iridia. So she can be useful. I haven't really seen much for her to be viable yet, but that could change. That could change. I'll be nice.
Yeah, Rydia. I mean, this is always an interesting check. It's something. Depending on, is particularly if I'm looking for a gated character in a character hunt, it's a check I strongly consider making. Just because you have that knowledge. Now, if you find the Sand Ruby somewhere like in Luca Cave, it's very convenient to know, hey, I don't have to go through all of Luca Cave to go check and find out that it's not the character I'm looking for.
So with Rydia, I know she's been very hit or miss in this tournament. I mean, what makes you want to take her? What makes you want to use her like as an actual damage dealer versus an anchor? Because it takes a lot to get her to essentially cast nuke, especially if you also don't have the summons to back her up.
If I find maybe something like a really early Leviathan or Bahamut, maybe I'm thinking about that Rydia, but I already have a Palom on my team, and really ideally all I'm looking for right now is to try to get Virus on Palom as quickly as possible. Even something like taking random encounters on the walk up ordeals, depending on who else we find. Virus for those bridge fights on ordeals is going to be very valuable, and I guess it's still all dependent on I'm looking for, like, if I could pick up a cane at Mount Hobbs, I would feel much better about my ability to progress quickly.
So you were saying something.
Oh, hey.
PK, have you run this seed already? Or are you just a witch?
I've run too many of these to have any idea if this is one of the ones I've played through.
Sorry, Warlock.
We do, I mean, this dwarf axe is something I love. Oh, we do have a blizzard spear that's very convenient. Plague takes bonus damage against spears, but even just that dwarf axe from the starter kit for Kane is enough for me to feel confident getting through ordeals.
And I'm not gonna lie, that current comp on that team, I've totally taken to Lavos before. Just saying. But yeah, that dwarf axe is pretty interesting. For those who don't know, it does allow the back row glitch, so a lot of our melee characters that can't really hit very far in front of them, effectively only having touch range, they can go far when they burr. So, but they need to equip a long range or a, do you want to know what the official terminology is for it? They need to equip it and then unequip it and they're fine.
Yep, and the dwarf axe gives -5 agility. So if anyone has watched me with the starting Sid, I will just hot swap that in and out like it's an Avenger sword in these early boss fights, because it hits quite hard relative to anything else you're going to get in these starter kits.
Yeah, you and all those really top tiers, you do that way too heckin' fast. Heck.
Well, it is convenient, and you don't want -5 agility when you're Sid when he needs to actually be taking turns.
Yeah, as I totally always I have a tendency to forget to swap things, all right? It happens.
Yeah, we've all been there. But that was a nice place to run into Rubicant. That is one of the nicer spots. Oof.
Well, on the bright side, I normally I'd say, this is why you fade Antlion, like PK has shown all of us. There was a ribbon in the Antlion cave, essentially the chest right outside the Carter administration check that TwistedFlax is walking past right now.
Yeah, the gear is probably the reason that you would want to walk this out. If I had come in here without pulling anything, I am probably hot resetting out of that poison axe. Just gonna hope I find a better Cecil weapon.
That Leviathan pickup, though, is very interesting. That's pretty much one half of the Rydia starter pack right there.
Yeah, it's also a lot of money, and
This
that's
is very
also
true.
what I'm considering at that point. I mean, we'll see how quickly Sand Ruby shows up and what our underground access is, but I would say still 9 times out of 10 I'm selling that because that's essentially just casting Quake, and I would still rather anchor Rydia if she ends up on my team.
Fair enough. And plus, with selling things in this flag set, Escorter flag is on, so if you're normally selling something for, say, 1,000 GP, unfortunately, you're only going to get 250 right now because money's hard to come by, y'all.
And Soleras with that Blizzard Spear, that jump probably didn't even need to jump there. Could have just taken a regular swing, but that Rubicon did not last long enough to really accomplish anything.
Would Ruby's bonus weakness to ice when his cloak is open also be true when his cloak is closed when you're using that Blizzard Spear?
Yep. If you're using, and maybe Chad can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm relatively certain that as long as it's a weapon that does Ice Claw, Blizzard Spear, Ice Brand, are all going to continue to deal bonus damage regardless of whether he's got his left leg in or his left leg out.
Oh, that's not in my head.
And then just really just shake it all about.
Oh no. And then you do the stabby jumpy. And you turn yourself around.
And then you reset back out.
And go back to fading outline.
Yep. I mean, that is what it's all about. We are seeing a good little strat from TwistedFlax here. With a fast enough anchor or a slow enough anchor against Plague, depending on the location, if you get a Star Veil up, Plague's script keeps reading that one person doesn't have that Doomcast on them, so we'll just continue to try casting it. It gets reflected. There's a way to potentially to kill Plague with that, the Doomcast itself, but it just gives you plenty of time to just bonk Plague.
And how long does it take to actually kill Plague with that Doom counter? Because every single time I've tried to reflect it, Plague's like, no, you're going to be here for a while if you think you're going to kill me that way.
It is, there's some specific basis for it in the relative agility combined with the fact that if you get a fast or reflected back onto Plague, you have to use a slow cast or a fast cast. I don't know. I just rely on the fact that I can probably just drop him now that I have the Star Veil up. I don't really understand the whole setup for that.
I will say, though, that our wonderful Restream team taught me a very important lesson literally just before we started. Octomam, because Octomam has a light resistance, is weak to shadow or darkness or what have you. So DKC got to do damage. I'm so proud of him. And I'm so happy you guys taught me that info.
Yeah, the first two bosses, in order to attempt to balance the fact that Dark Knight Cecil can do almost 0 damage, have a weakness to the weapon that Dark Knight Cecil starts with. Odin, on the other hand, is going to be weak to Palom throwing lightning from above.
That's an understatement. So on screen we have two bosses that can be kind of scary in a lot of different areas, but right now we're just kind of there, kind of ish.
This Ogo, I don't know what gear we have on Cat Sith, which I'm assuming we just didn't have room for the A, but I like Cat Sith now. That's meta. As long as the punches don't do too much to Kane, yeah, that's gonna hit for 1. His gear is fine. I believe TwistedFlax also picked up that ribbon, so this is just do damage. This is whole day.
We see doing Mount Ordeals. We have a potential hook route, ladies and gentlemen. That has been found. Now we'll see if Soleras dives under there really quickly to see who is in that hook route, or hoping for a magma key, maybe.
Love watching hook routes. Actually, I kind of prefer hook routes in actual seeds as well. And ooh, that is a pan.
That is spicy.
if we don't end up for whatever reason, the last X number of races I've been in and watched or commed have been, Darkness Crystal, also somewhere early on the overworld. So we'll keep an eye out for that. But I don't mind having linear seeds when I'm actually competing, because I feel better about not making the wrong choice.
So essentially, if you're there, linear seeds are all day. If you're not racing, branch out as far as you want. I see how it is.
Divergence is very entertaining to watch. It is absolutely terrifying to participate in a seed where you can go anywhere you want, and nowhere seems to be the right choice.
Okay, so those mom bombs, so you had the gray bombs and the regular bombs. Do they have different elemental weaknesses?
I don't think it's elemental weaknesses. I believe that there's just difference in magic defense.
Oh, okay.
But I will refer to someone in chat who's wiser than I am if I'm saying anything wrong. That's a convenient way of taking that fight, though. The Mom Bomb gets a bonus 10,000 XP or HP, so you just want to trigger that explode script as quickly as possible, wait for them to come out, and then have your AoE damage ready.
And TwistedFlax, getting a little bit of extra looting in, did find a Silk Web, which is going to be fantastic for Z, and happened to find Kane's second best weapon, the Drain Spear, behind, of course, the Spear.
Spear with these Neki flags, we don't get to see nearly as much Spear as I was hoping for in this tournament.
I just like saying Spear.
The Spear's so nice, they named it twice.
Okay, that has a little bit too good of a ring to it.
Trust me, I've been getting comments about my use of Spear since Fabul Gauntlet, so I've been coming up with plenty of ways to refer to it. Yeah, both lightning weaknesses on the bridge. Really, with this Palom, it's ideal for getting through this quickly. Obviously, I don't think if I'm one of these runners that I feel like I have an advantage, but I also don't feel like there's anything in particular that, my opponent could have done thus far that would have given them a lead, because these two fights are some of the ones that you want to get through quickly, particularly in a 1v1.
I will say, looking at how decked out Soleras' Cecil is right now, the light sword, Zeus gauntlets, I think that was a crystal helm, I think maybe diamond shield and chest piece, but still, that Cecil at level 1 is going to be doing some pretty impressive damage.
Yeah, Cecil is back from relative to the Fabul Gauntlet. Cecil is back with a vengeance now. No longer the mandatory agility anchor, and with these T Wildish flags in particular, basically the second you have a Cecil, he's probably going to carry you through the rest of the seed.
And the irony of you mentioning vanilla agility is the fact that Soleras changed their comp so that Cecil was the anchor. Well played.
Well, these early world fights, if you're a newer runner, you usually benefit from having your fastest person in the center slot until basically you hit that hook route. So as you see, Cecil gets a fair number of turns, 12 levels, and really we're only missing Baron in for both of these runners at this point, right?
Yes, I believe so. Would you personally go for that hook right away, or would you go to Baron in first?
I'm doing Baron in first, not because I think it's going to be a magma key, but because I think I'm going to forget about it if I don't do it before I go underground. And I think we've all been there where I have gotten to the end of a seed, done what I thought was my last check, and then said, oh no, Baron in. Like, the mask meme, I forgot my mask. Oh no, I've forgotten Baron in. It's been sitting there all game.
I think you've reminded a certain commander in chat about a certain Miss Baron in check on a certain seed of the week that I am certainly going to bring back up.
Yep, I do see them in the chat. We've all been there, some of us more publicly than others.
I will say, while our runners are getting ready, finishing up their kind of rubber banding fights, quick shout out to those of us behind the scenes. I mean, PK and I, we just get to talk shop, and by talk shop, I mean PK gets to talk shop, and I just get to sit here and go, "You're smart." I'm not, but there's two amazing people behind the scenes that are making this look fantastic. We have Alicel doing the restreaming, direct every and any little bit of love for an amazing seed to her. And in tracking, literally tracking from the future, we have Judge and Phineas. So give shout outs to them, give love to them, follow our runners, and follow the ultimate god slayer himself, PK4787. He's a pretty cool dude, and he puts up with my heck when he's trying to coach me in free enterprise. So cheers to him.
I mean, feel free to follow me, but only if you like watching the first 20 minutes of Mystic Quest for 4 hours.
I mean, there are worse things to watch online.
That's fair. Dying 70 seconds into a speedrun is at least maybe entertaining for viewership, if not
for the actual runner.
Yeah, if not for myself. This is a great spot for the Magus Sisters. You know, there's a decent chance with the Magus Sisters in the wrong spot that you can get held up early by them. Fortunately, that is not the case here, and I do like this play from TwistedFlax. This is also something I would forget to do if I dive the hook, is we have 2 boss check locations, and I'm not sure if we've seen either of them yet.
I know one of our runners did check Waterfall. I think they reset out of it super quickly, which means that probably wasn't a DKC. So it looks like the DK. Oh, CPU at the Waterfall. Thank you. So yeah, our Dark Knight is hiding elsewhere.
And Pastor Morpheus pointing out in chat, as I'd mentioned earlier, getting Virus on Palom is an absolute godsend, particularly against someone like Pale Dim, where you're not getting any bonus damage from. You're actually getting negative damage from something like that Blizzard Spear.
But with that glass helmet, though, either we have a very cheeky D-Mist that's trolling our runners right now at the Magus Sister spot, or I think we're going to be going to that hook grab pretty soon.
I love Cave Eblin. Personally, that shop has the chance to roll 2 of those top tier items that our runners are looking for: Bacchus Wine, Hourglasses, Sirens. And there's a lot of loot there. I'm strongly considering checking some loot there. I'm still on the lookout for. It's a good amount of money, and as you mentioned, with that escorter on, money is something you need a lot of with all those J items for sale.
And here we see Soleras playing everyone's favorite game of Dude, Where's My Hovercraft?
Well, he just needs to tattoo the location on his back.
When I think of smart and intelligent things to do, that is right up there on the top of it. I approve.
If it'll go well with my lower back tattoo. That's the D Machine grind chart.
I just figured it was a map of Final Fantasy IV and giant X's through places you don't go to.
That would have been a good guess. That was my first idea. And shop check. Oh, I want Bacchus Wine so bad right now.
That's how those sirens there too. We have acquired a grind.
Yeah, those are great to see. They're not going to be as helpful as something like Bacchus Wine for this immediate upcoming fight, but you can breathe a sigh of relief knowing that there are sirens in this seed. So XP will come plentifully, and there are the coffins. That was the other one I was trying to think of when I was listing things. Those coffins are going to make free fights even freer, and grinding eggs is going to be not a problem. Granted, you'll probably have Quake at the end of this.
Plus, I've noticed our runners have picked up some hourglasses, picked up some coffins out of chests, so this is just a nice little surplus here.
Yeah, depending on the boss, this is a question of, am I looting any more here, and do I want that Mad Ogre's chest for XP? But for me, it's going to come down to who is this character and who is this boss? Because as you mentioned, that Hourglass makes those Mad Ogres incredibly free. That Poison Axe is going to come in handy because they are giant type.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's kind of required doubly.
And our good friend Dr. Luge. So not an incredibly dangerous fight, but not going to be very fast. But fortunately, this isn't one of those cases with a vanilla demist or something giving a magma key to one runner. So they both have to go through it. So it's not the worst thing to see.
So, because Dr. Luge has the multiple phases, are you kind of glad to see that because the ruby spot HP gets divvied up between the different phases, or is there just another reason why?
It's just not a very difficult fight.
Fair enough.
The split XP or the split hit points is really nice. If you take this Mad Ogres and you have, I think the Mad Ogres, if you life glitch, will get you just to Quake on the kid, so that's going to deal damage to both of the opening
Ooh.
characters.
Oh,
Something
Stardust
like
Rod.
that's a nice little grab there too. Um, and then, I don't know if we'll see it. I don't really know if it's necessary, but the second phase of Dr. Luge, you can make essentially entirely free by taking something like putting on a Star Veil on your Cecil and just having him hold A. That's why those Bacchus ones would have been at least convenient.
Not gonna lie, how you have your chest, PK. I've kind of made that very first check a mandatory check every seed I do. So I'm kind of happy that there was a Stardust Rod in there just then.
Yeah, that's this is so I kind of like Soleras' play here. I mean, granted, that Stardust Rod makes me feel even better, but you might want to just keep the base level Rosa for these first two fights. I don't think she would get all the way to Berserk from that Mad Ogre's chest, which is really the one spell I'm looking for. And I might just throw her in the middle and let her be slow for a fight or two.
Fair enough. TwistedFlax gained the good news that Rosa has been found, and Soleras didn't equip the Stardust Rod.
Could have been a slip of the mind. And I don't think it's going to hurt you too badly here with all this that you have. And Heretic Trance with 10 gift subs. Thank you so much.
To those that got hit by that gift sub bomb, make sure you give your love and your thanks and enjoy the awesome free enterprise emotes.
Yep, we'll see plenty of them. Hopefully we get some music here.
Now Soleras just taking the one of the two options, and arguably the most amusing option. If you defeat the officer, the soldiers really don't know what to do, so they just take on the approach of stop hitting yourself, and they will keep hitting themselves until dead, or just run out of HP because of virus.
Yeah, this is it's almost an unfortunate spot to run into this free fight because you're not getting any experience from this encounter. If you could coffin that officer and then get a life glitch, you actually net nearly double the XP because that officer carries a majority of the XP of the four characters, bosses, whatever they are, guards in the encounter.
Those people.
Yeah.
I was wondering why Soleras wasn't going for a life glitch, but yeah, I forget there's certain spots that you just don't get XP from, and you have to deal with it, unless it's the Alt Gauntlet.
Yep, it's something. If you had thrown a life pot there, it's not going to hurt you too badly, but you're not getting anything from it.
Right.
I had to discover that the Medusa arrows with the stone cast don't actually. You can't life glitch something that's been stoned to death.
Are there any other status effects that do that too, or just stone?
I believe it's just stone because they're not dying in the natural death fashion. But maybe chat can correct me if I'm wrong. This Steelman fight, it looks like it's going okay. These are my mortal enemies.
Why is that?
I've taken a couple attempts at these in situations where I probably shouldn't, and lost every single time.
Ah. Well, that's a nice second. No, it looks like TwistedFlax didn't pick up that first Zeus gauntlet, but it doesn't matter because they have one now, and that Cecil is going burr just a little bit more. So I think,
Yeah, that is strong.
I don't think Cecil, their Cecil, or TwistedFlax Cecil, has a weapon on par with the lightsaber, though.
Yeah, the poison axe is a decent weapon. It's not lightsaber good. It's also not the most accurate of weapons. But knowing how these flags play out, we're only so far from either forging for an Excalibur or, randomly finding a crystal sword somewhere.
Fair. And TwistedFlax picking up that Stardust Rod and immediately halting progress to equip that babby, or that bad boy.
Yeah, it's a good pickup. Looks like they are planning on, hunting out these Mad Ogres chests. Since we're naming our favorite chests, I'm hoping the Mad Ogres are at the middle finger chest. Right now it's 50-50 shot. Let's go middle finger chest.
Right. Nope, it's just in the ring chest.
Boring.
Oh. But that chest is always the forgotten one because the door is right before it, and it takes effort to go past the door.
It's true, but once you've heard the name middle finger chest, you can't unsee it. Actually, we pointed out, someone in chat pointed out, Yang started with a Charm Claw, and this is essentially one of the only times that you would benefit from Charm Claw. And we are also seeing, technically, for whatever reason, I don't quite understand why, Dr. Lugay's second form and Balnab are both considered machines. I don't really know what I would consider this form of Dr. Lugay to be if I was being serious, but...
Something that Friday or Five Nights at Freddy's took ideas from? I don't know.
But you could, the Thunderclaw would do bonus damage here. 300 hit points young. I don't think we're really missing out on that damage, but this bonus XP for TwistedFlax is at least going to speed up this fight a little bit here.
Yeah, especially with those life glitches that Flax is getting on. Yeah, I can see that. We will see if our Felix the Cat will get a Quake spell after the Mad Ogres.
Yeah, Quake will be big for both of these Lugay fights. Quake with that Stardust Rod, if you don't want to use your coffins, is going to be a real quick way to scramble some eggs. This is really going to pick up with those already having sirens in hand. The minute these runners get underground, this is going to get interesting because we also have that pan.
Well, yeah, so since we have sirens and we have grind options available, would you feel comfortable building up this team for a Z fight or no?
I would take one, maybe just to get Scala/Rosa to Berserk. But then I don't think I really need to grind that much with this Cecil unless it turns out that we need to do the Fey March before we get, access to the overworld. But I'm eyeing up Dwarf Castle, maybe to ditch Palom if I find another Cecil. I don't know. This is a solid party. We just don't have an anchor at this point.
It's still so weird coming from Threema Zone where the Reflect strats and the Mage comps were pretty much king, and now it's shifted more towards a physical fighters go burr, and if you have a Mage, cool. Is it because of the flags? Is it just because different strats for the times, or what's going on?
Well, Cecil is off the leash now. And Cecil was one of the, is the Zerker king. There are also no slingshots, so there is no way to, sort of grab two black mages and just get them up to nuke incredibly quickly. And then we do also have this wonderful, wonderful vanilla giant flag on, which I am a huge fan of.
Like it? It does drastically limit people's desires to go D-Machine or Mac Giant Grind, but at at the same time, it really forces, well, most people to never go into the giant ever.
Yeah, the giant is rightfully so considered, very much a last resort on these flags. But I'm just a fan of having to get your XP elsewhere. In the bracket flags, its money is going to be incredibly tight.
Hey, PK, did you see that top of tower boss?
I did not. What are we looking at?
Looking at a bonus round.
Ooh.
Right.
You don't hate it? That's great knowledge. I am still probably going to take that pan check first, just hoping for the tower key and even, potentially doing Dwarf Castle just to knock it out of the way.
That's not necessarily a quick fight to have Demas there, is it?
There's a specific strat that I would probably use.
Does it rhyme with Bolo?
It does. It does. I mean, Paladin with Quake, second round, I would probably throw out a Quake, a Bluff, and then during the first mist phase, I am just going to Zerk up Cecil with that Poison Axe.
But yeah, if you can tell, Soleras, about 31, 32 minutes in, has reached underground. We are cracking eggs to get a little bit more health and levels on our characters. And meanwhile, TwistedFlax has started to fight Dr. Dialogue itself. So you would go pan check. Would you go to Feymarch then, get that freebie? Like, what would be your rough routing right now? Not that I'm taking notes or anything, because I'm taking notes.
I don't think there's it technically, the best routing is if you knew where the harp was and the two pieces of forge and the darkness crystal. But I would certainly turn that pan in before doing anything else. There's a part of me knowing that Demas is up there where maybe I want to take that Demas. But Dwarf Castle is relatively free with this party, and it's going to give you another 40,000 experience. So I would consider taking that. And then either heading up for that Demas, maybe checking the Feymarch freebie, but part of me wants to just, if I'm going to go down to the Feymarch with this party, hope I can have all the gear that I need to potentially start clearing out those fights.
Makes sense. And thankfully, Soleras did remember to equip the Stardust Rod, and he's just going straight to Dwarf Castle. Gonna see. It's a pretty dense check. You have the two bosses, the key item, character check, or potential key item, I should say. So we'll see what's awaiting us here.
Yeah, I don't dislike this choice at all. I'm not in a huge rush to turn in the. Never mind. I'm out of here.
Do you want to rescind what you literally just said?
I do. I would reset here right when I see that jerk jumping for joy in the background, like peekaboo, hey, it's me.
Like, oh, you like me in the easier second spot? That's cute. No, you're fighting me first this time.
I don't know. I mean, you can still with the levels that we have here, you can you're gonna need to get kind of lucky, just because you don't have a great anchor. But if you get a veil up, basically any one of the characters that we see here can probably make it through this fight. Great job on that jump too.
Okay, I was gonna ask about that. So since Kane jumped and the tech started, is Kane literally going to drink a lot of Red Bull and never come down until Shadow is done? Never mind.
Kane gets stuck on the ceiling for a hot minute, but does manage to avoid the hold. So if he doesn't get demolished, this is going to be really free, because Kane, as you can see here, will get a turn before Golbez even starts casting spells.
I think Shadow tried to devour Cecil, because Cecil has the crystal helm on. Oh, Ninja Debugger in chat said that jumped Kane didn't count against the count. That makes sense.
And I believe someone in chat pointed out, Judge Infinius, the tracker, said if the ribbon is on, that prevents instant death.
Oh. Ooh, that magic hits hard right there.
Yeah, this is not a fun spot. Vanilla Golbez is super free. relative to this spot, both because the hit points are lower, but the magic is almost non-existent at that spot. You can see Golbez miss spellcasts in this vanilla
Right.
spot.
Well, Golbez is defeated, but there's still one more fight, significantly easier. But Soleras is going into that with 3 party members down, so this may or may not be it. Well, okay, I'm gonna. I think this.
We're getting really good at
jinxing ourselves.
yeah, just eating our words like mid-thought. Oh, that is no, just the cane. Keep young, team young. Second Cecil is almost as good as first Cecil in my book here. If I knew there was Bacchus wine, there's a part of me that's considering not even keeping Palom around anymore.
Makes sense.
We have one Cecil, yes, but what about second Cecil?
Also, I think the seeds that we've done in the tournament are getting sick and tired of hearing commentators curse. This is now like Seeds curse. We're just gonna say something and the Seeds like, I'm gonna stop you right there.
That's true, Night 2. I don't know if TwistedFlax knows about second Cecil. At least not yet.
Does know about Dr. Dialogue though.
And we are seeing, if you pay attention, that Rosa has a Star Veil up, and now it's gone. So there we go again.
Are we on a delay?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. But you can reflect that emission. You can it absorbs the laser cast. So if you're ever against this second phase in a tough spot, just throw up that Star Veil.
And all of that for, well, an arty bow. Woo.
Don't hate to see it. Certainly not a key item. This is, as when I was describing things, this is, your routing is great if it turns out that it was the right place to go. Retrospective routing is a heck of a thing in these flags.
Also, I will comment on something that the Seed cannot take away from us. According to Scott Kitty, your pronunciation of Cecil is better than the rest of the Cecil versus Cecil debate.
Cecil? Second Cecil?
You're making the rest of us look bad, which many of us are used to that already.
Oh, well, as the creator of the second Cecil GIF, you have to have that New Zealand pronunciation down, the Hobbit pronunciation of Cecil.
I suddenly need to ask our tracker, Judge and Phineas, afterwards what the Australian pronunciation of Cecil is after this stream.
I think Cecil in Australia is a completely different word. It's like 6 syllables long.
That's Welsh. It's probably Ceza? Oh, we're going to need to hear that.
The argument rages on. I will say, yeah.
Go on.
I was just going to say, I use Cecil and Cecil interchangeably. I don't really have an answer for it.
But then there's always the debate of Yang versus Yang, as we see our punchy mage getting bonked with a pan. And now we need to find an Edward.
Do we, though? Do we?
PK.
I mean, this is the glass cannon debate of Eddie that, again, I don't think it's necessarily right or wrong, but when I have the team that I have, Eddie's low hit points is not worth the interchangeability.
But that darkness crystal, though, in the free chest in the Fey March.
Well, now every choice that you make wrong, once you see that, you're gonna feel behind. Take the save there, Soleras. No, take the save. Pretend like you did it on purpose. It's a scrap. I have long mislanded that, and then Flurry gave me an earful because I just decided to take a save there to justify the landing in case I reset out of pan. But if you haven't been overworld yet, the cutscene is almost worth not resetting anyway.
Feymarch is loaded. We have the Darkness Crystal, and in the Asura spot, Dark Knight Cecil. What are your thoughts about that boss in that spot?
See, this is the thing about, you know, how much grinding you want to do and when you want to visit the Feymarch. Because
oh my god!
Wow.
What? Okay, let's unpack a few things here. We'll deal with Sheila in a second. That's too much goods to talk about. Keep talking about Dark Knight Cecil for a second.
I mean, Dark Knight Cecil is going to throw out 3 waves. Even, you know, if you can survive 1 wave, you have the potential to heal through it. But Soleras might be at a slight advantage for putting this off because those Cecils are just going to continue to gain hit points, and the goal really is to just not have to do anything in that fight. But okay, please unpack everything we just saw there.
So Sheila, first off, the pan both our runners have bonked our Punch Mage Yang, gets the spoon, which I kind of like, but doesn't matter. We took that busted frying pan over to Sheila, and Sheila's got not only the goods with the first check of the pink tail, which is a required objective, but she also gave the Legend Sword, which is half of a required objective. Today is not the day to fade Sheila. I know some runners do. Today is not that day.
You Sheila hard required, Feymarch looking pretty hard required, and this is where the guesswork starts to come into play. How quickly do you want to go Moon? I would, you know, you're going to want to clear out that Dark Knight Cecil at least before you go to the Moon. But this is the question in these seeds: is when to Moon, or if ever do I go to the Moon?
Would you take the gamble on the lunar character?
For an anchor, certainly. I don't really need anyone else at this point with this team besides someone slow who I can just leave in the middle of the party dead. So maybe I do want Nettie, but he's not using that spoon.
He's equipping it. He's still going to be a spoon word in my heart. I'm still recovering from comms yesterday, PK. It was tragedy. They threw away my boy, and then they found a crystal sword they didn't sell and gave it to the Cecil instead.
Oh, I have abandoned my boy.
I needed a hug, or at least a good bowl of chicken noodle soup.
I'm with Alicel here, if only to just be of the opposing value of just sell it, assert dominance over the seed.
No. You're my coach, PK. You can't give me bad advice like that.
It's not bad advice.
No, it's terrible advice.
I don't think Soleras took the time to turn in the pink tail yet, though. So this should be interesting. If this is it, I mean, if this is a crystal sword, I want it now. I want it 10 minutes ago. Okay, close enough. So Sheila has half of an X-Cal and an X-Cal, and we have 2 Cecils.
Is there something Sheila is not telling us right now?
The theory that I don't remember where it started. Someone brought it up in like ZZ2 maybe, but that if you have Yang in your party, Sheila has the goods. I always find it funny that Yang is just sitting there straight face lying about his location to his wife. But she had the goods. Those are all the goods. Granted, that's not going to help you too much on the Demonist.
Oh, still, like, okay, so TwistedFlax has Darkness Crystal, found Sheila has the goods. How badly is he sweating right now?
Yeah, I mean, all things considered, now that we know where that Dark Knight is, and we have the pink tail, we are literally 1 key item from go mode. And excluding, you know, both of them taking that Dark Knight, we have a lot of places available to check, and we have a lot of chains. We have a lot of running chains that are still sitting out there. We don't have Baron, we don't have the Tower Key, we don't have Luca Key, we don't have Earth Crystal. So, you know, this looks like it could be really jetty, but if I know anything about seeds that I think I'm going to be done with in an hour 15, is that 2 hours into the seed, I really wish it was over.
And Scala correcting in chat that we've talked about this earlier. Sheila is an ex-paladin. Does that make her a Dark Knight then?
Well, maybe that's why she doesn't need that legend sword anymore. She's retired.
I could just picture her like just up in the tower, cooking some food, glares of murder and death and strife coming out. It's a good old day for her.
Okay, so good on Soleras here. Is throwing a Zerk on that cane. This is we're gonna see potentially the double-edged sword of YOLO strats here. Fortunately, in this spot, the magic attack is essentially 0, so Cold Mist isn't going to hurt you. But if you're newer to YOLO strats and you want to learn YOLO strats, the secret is actually to cast the Berserk during the Mist phase, so you get those bonus hits right when he transforms back.
You want to wait to cast until you get the now ready to fight or text bubble, or before that even?
Before that even, because it's gonna let you start swinging. If you saw there, the Zerk had gone off, but Demas got a hit before Kane even started swinging.
Okay, I gotcha.
So it just lets you buffer in more actions. I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal, though, because Quake was hitting for 5,000 damage, so this is going to be the final round. But I'm going to try to keep an eye on how close we were to killing D-Mist before we hit that Mist phase.
One Quake would tend to do it.
Well, yeah, 5,000 is probably going to be enough.
Yeah, figure out exactly how close we were on that one, PK. I'm waiting.
Within 5,000.
Thanks, Tibbs.
Yep. So here comes the chains. Here come the chain items and that feeling of, do I do the chain or do I do something else? Granted, we're going to see that. Hopefully, remembers to check that D-Mist.
Would this be the beginning of the Fleetwood Mac checks?
It's a possibility. I'm teching my Frame Arch freebie if I haven't been down there yet. If I'm Soleras, at least to start.
Actually, I don't. Yeah, Soleras has not been to the Fame Arch yet, so Soleras doesn't know what's waiting for him.
No, but that was another 26,000 experience, so 42,000 from those Dwarf Castle fights, another 26,000 from the top of tower. So it's going to be in a much more comfortable position to potentially just dive right into that Dark Knight Cecil.
Oh, Soleras being the true villain and completely fading your chest, PK. Sorry.
Well, there's a crystal sword in it. Every time you don't open it, it's a crystal sword.
No, it's every time you're raising Flurry and Flurry checks it and you don't.
It's fair. So we will get the Pinktail turn in. It looks like is in the docket. Maybe he was just hoping, hey, maybe I find a rat tail in one of these checks.
Go into the Earth Crystal.
Interesting. So maybe this is just to check that treasury. Maybe just knowing you are on a broadcast, you want to give everyone in chat a chance to rate that treasury. Also, thank you, Dusty and Vitasia and Antidale for the raids. I know Vitasia and Antidale were racing, so please no spoilers for anyone who might be interested in watching those races back. But welcome, everyone.
Perfect timing for that rate that nerfed treasury, which is still providing a good amount of goods.
Wow.
Yeah. Usually when you see a good treasury like that, it's for all the characters that aren't in your party. This was nice.
Yeah, that's a solid 8 out of 10. I don't even mind that Rune Axe.
Extra Siren. That was pretty good.
Oh, wow. And Soleras going straight to Zot.
I mean, it could be the fact that he hasn't seen Fame Arch and hasn't seen Dark Knight Cecil, maybe hoping that there's something of value there. Unfortunately, we know where our dastardly Dark Knight is in the Assura spot for those that have just joined us. But meanwhile, though, Flax has finished the D-Mist, so Flax is immediately hightailing it out of there.
Yeah, this is, I mean, with these two Cecils and a Rosa, you might be looking for just a base level anchor, but really only Fusoya is on my list of characters who I don't take only to have them napping for the remainder of the seed.
Okay, so speaking of Fu, and we'll throw Edge in this too, since those are the weighted characters, and they have a better chance of showing up in weighted checks. Does this count as one of those?
Yep. Anything behind a key item. It really the only spots that we won't see Fu and Edge here because we don't have free characters on would be up on Hobbs or in the Baron Inn. So anything that's behind a key item, they have a chance of showing up.
And Flax is showing us what Rydia's mom has, and no, just a white shirt.
Oh, keep it. Where's Jeebus? How many sirens can I get on Escorter for a white shirt?
Hey, just remember, a crystal sword on Escorter gets you 7.9 sirens. Just saying.
That's a good amount of sirens.
I did the math for a joke objective because I was showing the importance of selling the crystal sword for the non-believer. Oh, 7.8. I rounded up, harumph, I think, maybe.
You rounded up to 0.9 from 0.8? Is that a thing?
I went to the hundreds.
We have Antlion here. This is not going to be a problem. TwistedFlax is seeing this Golbez. This is, again, this is one of those fights that should be fine, but you can never be certain until you see who gets eaten and when you get the fails up. But I believe that Yang has a crystal ring. I know TwistedFlax. I believe TwistedFlax found a crystal ring. So Yang will get to maintain his turn. It looks like Palom also has a crystal ring. Wow.
So TwistedFlax with a twisted ring, does that have the same effect as a cursed ring on a normal player?
I have no idea. Everything is confused in my head now.
It's all yellow.
The twisted ring, as it were, will prevent the hold, but it won't actually prevent the demolish. That requires a ribbon. It looks like Palom maybe has both, because that one demolish just went away. And yeah, that's a great use of equipment to make this fight entirely free, because now once you have that Star Veil up, you can take a sigh of relief.
And looking at our anchor options, we have a Sid, so decent anchor. We've got items to anchor Sid, but we'll see if there's a better anchor behind the closed door. Maybe, possibly, we'll see. It is, well, I mean, you get anchors.
Pick your poison. The Dwarf Axe on Sid will negate almost enough agility to let Sid continue to get levels, but not quite enough where it's something you want to do. So really either of these would make a fine anchor here.
Oh, unfortunately, Soleras did say goodbye to Glenn and decided to ditch Kane to use that tell as an anchor. I think Soleras had the Gungnir Spear on that Kane. So I'm kind of impressed right now.
Yeah, certain runners are a lot more prone to want to keep a Palom in, moving into the late game. Whereas I think the counter argument is, once you have your Zerker Cecils, there are not many fights that Quake would come in handy. And once again, to get cursed, this Deluders fight is a great fight to still have this Palom for, of course.
I would expect nothing less at this point.
Yeah, seriously, that was already up on the screen when I started talking. I just didn't see it.
Please.
This is what this seed is doing to us.
You're not wrong.
So there's just some interesting routing options, at least available to Soleras moving forward. Knowing that Demist doesn't have any value, fading Demist for Soleras is not going to be the end of the world. But the longer they don't at least go to the Fey March, I believe, is a slight advantage knowledge-wise for TwistedFlax. And if that Dark Knight happens to have the Harp or the Adamant, that's go mode right there.
Yeah, would this team be, at least on Soleras or Twisted for that matter, would their teams be solid enough to handle DKC waves at this point?
You know, I'm sure that we have at least 6 different charts that all show the damage that DKC would hit after there. I don't. In my head, I would say that that wave is going to do like 600 damage.
PK, we cursed ourselves again. So, Earth Crystal, surprisingly useful today. You trade in one rock and you get another.
Yeah, so double, yeah, two Excals on 2 Cecils. That white shirt Rosa. I mean, with that Tella as an anchor too, you could do Zeromus without any levels if you're feeling real dangerous right now. But that is no mode, yeah.
That's Moon's completely haunted. As long as Soleras goes to Fey March at some point in the near future.
Well, this is actually, I mean, retrospectively, this is glorious routing from Soleras because you don't have to worry about the moon if you don't realize that the Darkness Crystal's in the free check in the Fey March.
Thankfully for TwistedFlax, he's going to be getting the goods very soon, and no doubt he'll be making a beeline back to Fey March after that. Ninja in Fey March in the Ashura spot is Dark Knight Cecil.
So yeah, we unfortunately are. There's a 0% chance we get music. I do love seeing that TwistedFlax is also making this play, because then we're gonna have a very tight finish to this race, assuming that they're both headed to the Fey March after these Forge and this Earth Crystal is done.
And I wouldn't be surprised if Soleras was a little sad that they got rid of Kane, considering there are defense swords for sale in the Forge. Actually, what is better, the defense sword or the Gungnir Spear?
Defense sword has higher accuracy.
Okay.
I believe it has slightly more damage than the Gungnir. It has slightly less damage, I believe, than the White Spear / Dragoon Spears, but maybe someone in chat can point out the difference between, because I know it's that defense sword relative to White and Dragoon is the argument. Gungnir is a step below those 3.
Ibaka is going against his namesake right now by stating that defense sword is 105 and Gungnir is 99. So there we go.
Well, I mean, this is not a fake jet seed. We're right at the cusp of both runners being in go mode here at 1 hour and 5 seconds.
I think it was the talk of food before the match. Food sounds great.
Yeah, just get a quick race in, fun little comms, and then I can eat and sleep. It sounds like a great Saturday evening.
And you were only lying about one of those things. I kid.
And here we go. This is. Now we're gonna see this Dark Knight. I'm anyone in chat. What do we think the first wave is gonna hit for? Give like a within. I'm gonna say 500 to 600. I know there's an actual answer, but I'm just gonna. That's my guess.
724.
All right, we'll use Cecil, and I'm gonna say 614.
Oh.
Whoa.
Hey.
Debugger wins. Hits it on the nose. Okay, this is slightly more damage than Soleras was ready for. We hadn't healed up after taking the damage from those damage tiles, but I think a slight change to battle speed and a little bit of Cure 3 here from Rosa is going to make this totally fine. Obviously, I've never wiped to a Dark Knight Cecil in the Fey March. No one's ever done that.
I will say I like the play Soleras is doing right now, especially because we have that Cecil in the party. Granted, of course, now that I'm cursing him, Cecil is getting attacked. But that is effectively a free fight as long as one of those Cecils survives the second kick.
Yep, and at RA1 you can actually, after he hits after the first kick, you can proc that swoon, but it's not always the safest. And that's still a win. A win is a win, even if you're Cecil without any sword equipped. Just punches him.
It works, all right? I would have laughed so hard if that was the twin harp. Not gonna lie.
Yeah. I don't see it lit up. I trust our tracker, and thank you, Rex, for the raid. But has Soleras checked that freebie?
The pink tail?
No, the Feymarch freebie. I don't see the darkness crystal lit up.
Like I immediately want to say yes because check your freebies, but I don't know. Soleras' routing is
Okay, he did.
Fading us right now.
So here we go. I mean that Yang fight. That was the only reason I was asking about that was maybe we take that Yang fight. We do have the pass, so that is Aromas access. So maybe just that is a little XP for that Cecil. At 8 key items, if that had been a 9th key item, this would guarantee that you hit 10, so you get that bonus damage. And it was a quick fight, so there's definitely plenty of reasons to want to take that.
Yeah, and lowering battle speed should help significantly to heal up in between those waves because they were coming down the road fast.
Yeah.
Dark Cecil go burr in this fight.
Yep, here we go. I've played this game before. It's called How Many Times Do I Wipe the Dark Knight in the Feymarch because my turn ordering isn't perfect. Soleras. Maybe just want some levels?
Right? Yeah. What would you do for your turn order here?
I would. He's not fully healing up the Cecils. If you just put one Cecil up top and one Cecil on bottom and have them both throw a Cure 2 on the same Cecil, you should be able to get through there.
Oh, that's interesting what Soleras is doing right now.
Just straight to the moon. Diamond hands.
Huh. Could this be for an anchor? Could this be for something?
I am not entirely sure what this choice is. Maybe wants to look at who the character is, but going anywhere further than that character spot is going to definitely put you back relative because we see TwistedFlax is selling everything, liquidating the inventory, and if Twisted is headed on down to that Dark Knight Cecil, we might see a slight lead change here. But that is.
Did you bait it again?
I don't quite understand. Maybe he just wants to grab everything to try to get the grind going. Has not turned in the pink tail either, so maybe just wants to knock that out as well.
This is definitely going to be questions we'll be asking Soleras when they're done.
Yeah, we're in a curious spot. This grind is also, maybe just wants to knock down Tella and grab a few more levels before that Dark Knight Cecil, but we see TwistedFlax is at 8 key items, and at 10 key items you get double experience. So if that Dark Knight Cecil happens to be holding a key item as well as picking up the crystal, that will get you right to 10.
Okay, that is some nice parallel parking.
Oh, that is a lineup.
That was clean. I'll take things I will never be able to do in both free enterprise and real life for 500. Thanks.
Yeah, this is. The sirens are here, so probably wants to have everything you need for your potential grind. With 10 sirens in hand, I don't think you need that many more. Without the 10 key item bonus, you were trying to get up to Cure 4 white on your Rosa. I will say, depending on how much grinding we see here, this Zeroma's fight on both sides is not going to be an incredibly difficult one.
PK, he sold the spoon.
Yeah, well, 10,000 spoons when all I need is a knife.
But I just want that spoon.
Well,
For you, it'd be like, well, it'd technically be for me then, just meeting the man of my dreams and meeting his beautiful wife, but still, the spoon.
I mean, selling a spoon during an Oscar comms is a little ironic, I have to say.
I think.
It looks like, yep. Okay, so we're gonna see sort of back-to-back grinds here. I don't know how much more we are gonna see from, or how much leveling we're gonna see from either runner. It is free. It is quick. It's a hold A grind. But while we have this quick pause, big thank you again to Alicel for restreaming and Infinius on our tracking. And if you are enjoying the free enterprise races, the tournament that we have going on, we have a few races tomorrow. Cubs Rule 21 and Aizen Tayama are going to be on at 1 Eastern, as well as Aegis and Penny Whistle at 5 Eastern. And ending out our round 3 at 7 Eastern will be Mechalink and Super Nintailor.
We have some pretty interesting matchups tomorrow. I'm not sure what the records are on some of them. I think there might be a potential elimination match somewhere in there. So again, it's gonna be pretty awesome. So definitely check us out. And you know what? If you're looking at this and going, say, hey, I want to take part. I want to join in on the fun. Well, come in. We have a Discord. We're nice people. We don't bite. We just nibble. And if you want to do what PK and I are doing, or what Alicel is doing, what Infinius is doing, we always are looking for people on the Restream team. We're always looking for people on the Restream team. And it's really fun. Yes, Ellie is doing the thing. She is making everything look pretty and amazing and not catch fire, which is important usually.
Yeah, the behind the scenes is where the real work happens, not us watching Twitch and talking about it.
We're literally just cursing ourselves.
And okay, so I'm gonna say Twisted has, by not having made that Feymarch trip, is a slight advantage just by having already turned in that pink tail and just immediately grinding here. And yeah, Twisted now has the levels where it doesn't really matter how much those waves do. Two ways, maybe 3 ways of getting through Dark Knight Cecil, and one of them involves not doing anything at all, and that is the preferred choice.
We call that a quick bathroom break for our runners.
Yep, I will laugh if this had the harp.
Oh my god!
Because we would have had just 2 alternate paths to go mode, because Earth Crystal and harp are very similar as far as how much time it takes.
Oh, true.
So it wouldn't have really hurt our runners in either direction, but it'll be interesting because it would have allowed alternate paths to go mode, and we would have gotten music as well.
Well, see, we'll get the twin harp if we talk about the twin harp not being here. That's the problem. Because clearly the twin harp is not here. It can't be here. There's no physical possible way it can be here, right?
Yeah, 100% twin harp is at K value behind Vanilla Bahamut.
Ew.
And here we go. Just gonna sit tight, just remain cozy while Yang laughs in eating damage.
Ooh, smart move on TwistedFlax to get Rosa a little bit of love there.
Yep, and Flax is through, so this is objective 5. That is 4 out of 5 objective completed, which is what we need to get ourselves in go mode. We had that. Was it past the starting item?
Yes, pass was the starting item.
So extra $200 for not even having to launch the whale. Do not pass go. Do not ever go on to the earth. And okay, a defense sword. So it wasn't a 10th key item. So that grind is 100% not not being punished by not having 10 key items, because we're not getting to 10.
Yeah, this is a pretty straightforward seed. Essentially, as you mentioned before, the restream, the streams that you love to play, or you love to see only when you're playing them. Otherwise, branch away.
Yeah, I don't know how I would feel. I mean, racing this seed, you probably, you know, I would feel really good if I had made that earth check and that had paid out. I might feel ahead. But our runners have done essentially, you know, the exact same checks. So this is, you know, this is very neck and neck.
It's pretty much going to come down to just how clean this seed fight is. I mean, TwistedFlax is in the driver's seat right now, so as long as it's a pretty clean fight, it should be straightforward. Now, the big difference is, well, TwistedFlax has a Kane and a Cecil. Soleras has a Cecil and a Cecil with 2 Excals. How is 2 Excals versus an Excal and a defense sword gonna pan out?
You're gonna probably net, you know, assuming you get Zerks up on all 3 of these runners, you're gonna end up netting, you know, a good solid probably 2,500 damage around. But I don't think that would be enough at this moment to make up that time. I know it's getting late, chat, but I'm not ready for bed yet.
Yeah, I kind of I don't know about you, but I had a late night last night.
That is fair. I should say I'm not ready to get back into bed.
So basically, we can't move Z. It's just too strong of a fight. We can change what Z looks like, though. And there is a grand total of, counting, 526 different unique Z sprites. And we don't know what it's going to be unless we ask a certain question. Coach, will you do the honors?
Well, in that case, I guess it's time to ask, whose butt are we going to kick tonight?
I don't know about you. I always like seeing Zero Ward or Zero Miss. It's just a giant 0 because memes.
Zero Muss. Yeah.
It's literally the number 0 and it's great.
I mean, I love all of the sprites from Scala Kitty. There is one in particular that I keep hoping will pop up in the tournament that I believe you've seen. Oscar. No, my sprite.
Oh, I've seen it. Yes. Oh, I love it so much. Yeah.
It's glorious. There's so we see TwistedFlax storing the crystal here. I'm not sure if we've seen Bacchus wine, but this is actually, given that you have base Tella without a curse string, this is actually an opportunity for an interesting start that I've stolen from Jeebus, which would be casting Berserk on one of your characters with Tella and then having your second slot character throw the crystal just to get somebody swinging sooner. If there's Bacchus wine, it's not that big of a deal, but with 3 Zerkers without wine, you're going to need a lot of Zerk casts to get this party rolling.
And it looks like, let's see here, Nathaniel has turned into the witch or warlock themselves and asked for a cute Z sprite. And we get Pokemon number 151 with Mew-Miss. Not a shiny Mew, though. Just regular Mew.
This is, seeing Mew like this is very reminiscent of the ending of Pokemon Snap for the 8 people in the world who played Pokemon Snap. This is like the exact background for it, too.
Like, could you narrow that strike range just a little bit more, PK?
Yeah, just throw an apple at it. Just throw some apples.
God.
Or the what were the other ones? The stun balls. It's so cool to like just hit the Pokemon with things just so you can take pictures of them.
It's like, I'm gonna anger you by chucking this object at you. Make sure you look pretty for the camera, please.
Yep.
And then it turns on the last second.
Yeah, this is very quickly. Yep. This is what I was saying about the issue with the lack of Bacchus wine. Cecil was zerked up, but Cecil took the counter nuke, and then the big bang went off, and there weren't any Zerkers up. So Zeromus, when nobody's taking turns on the other side, Zeromus basically goes, "Hey, I'm just gonna keep going. I'll just run through my script if you're not gonna do anything." So that second big bang was absolutely sprinted through. And here we go. Soleras jumps ahead with the slightly stronger party. And not really punished for not having a third Zerker here. Keeping that Palom, Palom will probably do well enough to survive big bangs. But here we go. Yes, Soleras did it.
Oh,
that's the Telezerk into Crystal. So if you'll see here, that Zerked Cecil at the bottom will get 2 or 3 empty swings off, but this just allows you to buffer, other Zerk casts, get walls up, and just gives you a lot more time before this first big bang comes out.
No wonder you yell at me to do this all the time.
It's only because I care.
I know. I appreciate it. I care too.
And just using a virus, direct cast virus, anything that causes a mega nuke here will proc the big bang. If we don't have a silk web, then this is just about as good. And great choice, Mumis. You've done your job, old man. You got your 1 Zerk cast off in the Z fight. Now go to sleep.
Now he gets his true job, holding down the void.
It is kind of weird to perceive that there's like a floor there somehow that you're while this is all moving.
What really messes with me is there is a Z sprite that's literally the silhouette of Z, but it's a static picture of the void, and it is so hard for me to look at that sprite. Like I can't. I just crank up my volume and listen to the shakes.
Yeah, that's fair. Some of these there's some optical illusions with some of them. Some of what Skull Kitty has done is just amazing in that like the Z sprite is extended out into your party, which just seems slightly unfair. But it is all glorious to watch. And yeah, old man falls asleep wherever old man feels like falling asleep.
It's just old man doing I'd say do old man doing old man things, but real talk, if given the opportunity to just fall asleep wherever you wanted and nothing bad was to happen to you, yeah, like, this looks comfortable. I sleep here.
And this is the time in the race where I point out that if this isn't a tie, this will be the first commentary I've done in
oh my God, PK
in this tournament that wasn't a tie. So maybe we can break the streak for either of these runners. A tie is not the worst thing to happen, even though it might feel like that periodically. We have, Soleras definitely a slight lead. If we have all 3 Zerkers swinging for TwistedFlax, you might be able to make up a little damage. So we are, possibility.
I swear to ZPK, if you have counter curse stats.
Swear to me.
Considering so far it's only been my seed that's rolled a tie in this. We both have ties in our backgrounds now.
Yeah, I've counted 2 ties and I've been in a tie. I've been on every side of it, and it's an interesting feeling.
I'll never let us do this again.
Oh, well, that might be for the best. If it's another tie, I might just bow out. Doesn't no, did get the nerf off. That was well to nerf the second big bang. And wow, boom, crack, and Soleras has defeated Mumis. We'll see if we get an official time here, but it looks like enough has gone by where I think we can comfortably say that Soleras is the winner of our race today.
Absolutely brilliantly fast time of 1 hour, 20 minutes, 35 seconds. Keep those GGs going for a fantastic run by Soleras. And at some point soon, we should be able to get Soleras into the interview booth. Meanwhile, TwistedFlax is, taking out all the vengeance and trying to take out Mew just as quickly. But the nice thing, this isn't a tie. Enough time has passed.
I have to when I done now in my races, I have to sit there and stare at it for a couple seconds before I feel comfortable enough to look away from the screen.
Just to make sure.
Yep. Usually I used to think it was over when I hit done. Now it's over when I hit done and take a quick 3 count. But yeah, much better getting started here for TwistedFlax. As you can see, once these Zerkers get swinging, this is a relatively trivial fight, but without those Bacchus wine, it's getting this party rolling. That is always the concern with these Zerkers.
But I mean, that being said, it looks. I don't see this. Well, knock on my desk. I don't see this going haywire. Hopefully.
Yeah,
Although,
they're rolling as long as this Cure 4 goes off, because this Cure 4 will go off. We're very close to tipping into the Medio phase here, and it looks like, oh yeah, looks like we're through.
Wonders. Yeah, speaking of, there are rocks. So Mumus is not long for this void. It's about like 12,000 or so HP they need to get through.
At most 12,000, but that could have triggered, at any point between rounds. And that's it.
That's it. So yeah, with that last shot, Mumus has been defeated once more. TwistedFlax has finished their run with a final time of 1 hour, 23 minutes, 2 seconds. Keep those chi-chis going. Those were 2 really fast times, straight up. And not only are we're gonna get some people joining us, from the sound of it, we're gonna have 2 people joining us in here. PK, it's gonna get a little tight. Keep the social distancing going, everyone.
6 feet apart, but only about 2.5 minutes separating both of your finishes. GG's.
Oh, geez. Yes, GG's, Soleras, and TwistedFlax. Welcome to the booth.
Thank you.
So first off, Soleras, I want to commend you on that opening Zerkcast from Tella for your Z fight. Very happy to see that. Twisted, right when you went into the Z, if you watch back this commentary, we shouldn't be allowed to talk while other people race ever again. But I was saying, your one issue is just going to be getting your Zerkers going. So it really kind of made up, that ended up being the difference. Can you talk me through like that first Z fight for you?
Oh, sure. I don't know if I want to, though. It was just a case of making sure I had the timing right to get the nerf off on the Big Bang, because I knew I didn't have a lot of spare wiggle room on that Rosa. So I thought if I slowed him down, got through a round, got lucky, and got a Berserk off with the Tella, I'd probably be safe. Of course, board AI rears its ugly head and targets the Cecil with counter nuke, and it's all downhill from there. So when I came back next time, I thought, okay, I have to get my Berserkers up, because I just can't risk not clogging the queue. And just used the crystal to nerf it that time, and it worked out. I guess that was the right answer all along.
Yeah, that was. Either way, I'm just sitting here in awe and impressed at everything you 2 did in this scene.
Yeah, your routing was surprisingly similar, Soleras. After you beat that D-Mist, you grabbed the Earth Crystal. Did you purposefully not check the D-Mist item until after Earth, or was that one of those oops D-Mist type things?
Oh, that was a mistake. But afterwards, I was like, well, it's going to work out fine, because I think I was, I don't know, the D-Mist check is right next to when you pop up from Baron, so it ended up being okay.
Yeah, retroactively, that was a great choice.
And ironically, like the biggest divergence between the 2 of you was when you checked Feymarch. Twisted, you checked it pretty early. You found that Darkness Crystal. Thankfully, you didn't take the bait. You saw the DKC. You left. Soleras, you went to the Feymarch significantly later in your runs. What did both of you think when you saw just how much value was there, and then how much value that Pan gave with those Sheila checks?
I wish I had been thinking about my brain and that Pinktail just have issues. If I knew I had it marked in my tracker, but I didn't realize that it just didn't occur to me that it was an objective, because I was in go mode if I could beat that DKC. So when I tried it and I realized I couldn't really do it at that level, not thinking about the Pinktail, that's why I took the Leviathan spot fight. But after that, it was like, oh, I just need health, and then I just need to kill it, and I just need to go. So it was suddenly like, oh, we're done. It was very sudden.
Yeah, for me, I saw those fights early, and I was thinking I can probably take the Yang fight on the Leviathan side, but I realized, I'm going to have to come back for the DKC fight that I need to do because there's no way I can get through that with my current HP totals. So I knew I would just have to grind, come back, do the DKC, and if that wouldn't have given me go mode, I could easily do Yang at that point.
Very nice.
Yeah, that was just enough damage for me not wanting to take it. That when you made that first dip, when Soleras came back, it would have required some very good timing to get off the cures that you still needed. My only concern for both of you, because you both decided to grind to end game to Z levels before you took that, was you were sitting at 8 key items. You were guaranteed a 9th from the crystal, but you only got a defense sword from that, so there was no difference in getting to 10 key items if you got through that.
So moving forward for the two of you, Soleras, you're 2 and 1, Flax, you're 1 and 2. I'm assuming that how you approach next week could be a little different because, well, Flax, you get to, you're in a little bit more of a fight for your life mode right now. Like, how are you both approaching the upcoming matches and your practices, if you will?
Well, for me, I'm going to have to go back and lick my wounds. I think my 2 losses are by a combined total of about 4 minutes. So kind of tough from that respect. But, thinking back to the last tournament, the 3-bus zone, I started 1 and 2 and got put into the hook route and went 3-0 and won the play to get into the bracket. So I've been here before. I'm just going to have to do it again.
It wouldn't really change anything for me, to be honest. Last week, I had a really bad, I had a very, very, very bad seed. I was very upset about it at the end of it because it was really my own fault that I lost that race. Even though my opponent, Scythe Marshall, played amazingly and deserved the win, I really threw that race. In competition in general, it's important to try to be relaxed and to have fun, kind of no matter what. Like, if I'm having fun, then it's just going to make everything easier. So that's really the primary goal. It was my goal tonight, and it'll be my goal next week, and it would be the same whether I'm 1-2 or 2 and 1.
Yeah, there are sharks abound in all of the various win-loss columns. But yeah, congrats to both of you. GG's. Any final thoughts?
Just congratulations to Soleras again. I'm going to have to watch this back, but it could have had the potential to be a quick seed, but there are a lot of potholes. If you went to the moon, you were probably going to lose this race, and the moon was a big temptation. So GG's for him for playing an amazing race.
Thank you, TwistedFlax. GG's to you too. When I was heading to Z, I was like, I have lost this race. I have well lost this race because I fully raised the lunar whale, went to that entire cutscene, and then went all the way back down. And I was like, I accept it. So, the way that it ended up playing out, I'm sorry, but GG's. That was an amazing race. Thank you very much to Asuka and PK for the comms. Thank you also to our streamer and Ali and Infi for doing tracking. Always a pleasure to be here. Thank you for restreaming us, and have a great one.
GG's to both of you again for such an amazing race between you two.
Yep, and I think we have a raid target. I'll let Asuka maybe run through where we're headed, but again, thanks Asuka for putting up with me. Ali.
Okay, real talk. No,
putting
thank
us up.
you for putting up with me, and then thank behind the scenes for putting up with us.
Yeah, and thank you, Infinius, for tracking. And I think we have a raid, Asuka, if you want to take us out.
Yeah, we do. We are going to be raiding Eagle Falcon. They're doing a pretty long free enterprise stream. However, they are doing the seed of the week. So if you plan on running the seed of the week, go brave Sir Robin and bravely run away. Because you don't want to get that spoiled. That being said, don't spoil this race. It was a really good race. We had a lot of fun watching, I'm sure you did too. You spoil, Scala will bonk you with the newspaper, and if you've seen Scalamus, she's dangerous with the newspaper. But on that happy note, hope everyone had a good time, and we'll see you tomorrow for some more Free Enterprise fun. Take care and have a good night. And thanks again, everybody.